Hey, welcome to lesson 195. Love is the way I walk in gratitude. I love this lesson because the attitude of gratitude is literally the path of peace. When you're grateful for everything, when it's seen by you in your own mind that everything's either a lesson or a blessing, and if it's a lesson, it's gonna be a blessing, then you're grateful for everything, grateful to everyone who's playing a part for you, regardless of how it looks. Everyone's your teacher. Gratitude is a lesson hard to learn for those who look upon the world amiss. The most they can do is see themselves as better off than others, and they try to be content because another seems to suffer more than them, which is terrible. How pitiful and depreciating are such thoughts, for who has cause for thanks while others have less cause, and who can suffer less because he sees another suffer more? Your gratitude is due to him alone who made all cause of sorrow disappear throughout the world. It is insane to offer thanks because of suffering, but it is equally insane to fail in gratitude to one who offers you the certain means whereby all pain is healed and suffering replaced with laughter and with happiness. Nor could even the partly sane refuse to take the steps which he directs and follow in the way he sets before them to escape a prison that they thought contained no door to the deliverance they now perceive. Your brother is your enemy because you see in him the rival for your peace, a plunderer who takes his joy from you and leaves you nothing but black despair so bitter and relentless that there is no hope remaining. Now is vengeance all there is to wish for. Now can you but try to bring him down to lie in death with you, as useless as yourself, as little left within his grasping fingers as in yours. You do not offer God your gratitude because your brother is more slave than you, nor could you sanely be enraged if he seems freer. Love makes no comparisons. And gratitude can only be sincere if it is joined to love. We offer thanks to God our Father that in us all things will find their freedom. It will never be that some are loosed while others are still bound. For who can bargain in the name of love? Therefore give thanks, but in sincerity, and let your gratitude make room for all who will escape with you, the sick, the weak, the needy and afraid, and those who mourn a seeming loss or feel apparent pain, who suffer cold or hunger, or who walk the way of hatred and the path of death. All these go with you. Let us not compare ourselves with them, for thus we split them off in our awareness from the unity we share with them, as they must share with us. We thank our Father for one thing alone, that we are separate from no living thing and therefore one with him. And we rejoice that no exceptions can ever be made which would reduce our wholeness nor impair or change our function to complete the one who is himself completion. We give thanks for every living thing, for otherwise we offer thanks for nothing. It's all or nothing. And we fail to recognize the gifts of God to us. Then let our brothers lean their tired heads against our shoulders as they rest a while. We offer thanks for them, for if we can direct them to the peace that we would find, the way is opening at last to us. An ancient door is swinging free again. A long forgotten word re-echoes. Thank you. An ancient door is swinging free again. A long forgotten word re-echoes in our memory and gathers clarity as we are willing once again to hear. Walk then in gratitude the way of love, for hatred is forgotten when we lay comparisons aside. What more remains as obstacles to peace? The fear of God is now undone at last, and we forgive without comparing. Thus we cannot choose to overlook some things and yet retain some other things still locked away as sins. When your forgiveness is complete, you will have total gratitude, for you will see that everything has earned the right to love by being loving, even as yourself. Today we learn to think of gratitude in place of anger, malice, and revenge. We have been given everything. If we refuse to recognize it, we are not entitled, therefore, to our bitterness and to a self-perception which regards us in a place of merciless pursuit, where we are badgered ceaselessly and pushed about without a thought or care for us or for our future. Gratitude becomes the single thought we substitute for these insane perceptions. God has cared for us and calls us son. Can there be more than this? Yeah. Our gratitude will pave the way to him and shorten our learning time by more than you could ever dream of. Gratitude goes hand in hand with love, and where one is, the other must be found. For gratitude is but an aspect of the love which is the source of all creation. God gives thanks to you, his son, for being what you are, his own completion and the source of love along with him. Your gratitude to him is one with his to you, for love can walk no road except the way of gratitude, and thus we go who walk the way to God. Great lesson. The attitude of gratitude is something that's, it's one of those sort of rules that you can safely apply. It's one of those fallback concepts that you can use in any time of trouble. It's like, am I grateful for this? Right? The idea that I would have a grievance, let's say, or a judgment against something. It's like there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the old script which we are now learning to reinterpret for the greater good. But the idea that I would come across a moment of ingratitude or a moment of judgment or grievance in my own mind, right, tells me that there is still that of the old script that I have not freed in my mind, and thus also freed out in the world to be itself. I'm still trying to command at my own will the nature of time and space, rather than accepting it exactly as it is, as a place of constant change. And the only reason I would try to contain it or control it to be the same and hold it in some sort of element of what I relate to as a peaceful, if this doesn't change, then I'll have peace. I just have to control this situation and then peace will prevail. The only reason that I feel like that is because within me somewhere, I know that I come from a perfect place of peace and that peace is what I want. But in this world, being able to see that peace, being able to understand that sense of self and that truth, is to allow it to be what it is, which is a place of constant change. And in that, this place of constant change becomes the singular vibration of the place of constant changelessness from where I hail, from where I come. And so I'm grateful to my brothers. I'm grateful to the situations that cause me to want to think that a grievance is required in place of gratitude. Because I'm remembering, this is a course in remembering, I'm remembering that this world is not my home. I'm remembering that everyone's playing a part for me to teach me what it is that I am, to help me fall to my knees in prayer again and again and again, bringing closer and closer and closer my enlightenment. All right, without the understanding that the world is a classroom and that everything's a lesson and that my only attitude to every teacher for anything should be gratitude, right, I can safely, or I can take it on board that it could be millions and millions of years. But with the idea of the miracle, which collapses time across the board, it's like every cycle that I have, every repetitive situation that shows up for me, this same shit every day, every time that I'm triggered by these recurring emotional and energetic relationships, they span all of time and space, not just the little brief window of time I think I'm looking at them through. Right? They're part of my thought system that perpetuates itself in different form associations again and again and again and again. And I think it is actually different because it looks different to my eyes, it feels different to my touch, my ears, and all of those things, but it's actually the one same thing. And I'm learning to take responsibility for it as that one same thing by catching myself in the moment with the grievance of whatever that seems to be, but knowing that now it is a reflection of my relationship with the whole, a reflection of the relationship with God, and I'm owning it, I'm claiming it, and I'm like allowing it to be the truth of me here on earth, right, as my reflection for a second, knowing that it's not my actual truth, not my higher truth, and allowing that to be transformed miraculously through the prayer of the heart for the healing of the mind that believes in separation. Right? I know that sounds like a lot, but if you can remember that you project the world out, the meaning that you've given it. You didn't make the world, but you made the meaning that you give it and project onto everything to maintain an idea of autonomy where actually as above, so below, all things are one. You're part of a whole here. I'm part of a... I should keep my finger there. I'm part of a whole here, and as are we all, but with the ability through the idea of free will to think that I'm separate, which I'm learning sometimes painfully that I'm not. But pain is also the lesson. Pain is the hallmark of the lesson, or the opportunity there to apply the application, to apply the forgiveness, to begin to learn how to see things differently based on the new goal, the new purpose that I've chosen for my life. Right? As I so choose a new purpose, so will all things represent to me the opportunity to true up to that new purpose. All right? Sometimes it's going to be pretty horrific and awful, and we're going to stamp our feet and we're going to say, no, that can't be right. But it is. It's always right. Everything's always perfect. As above, so below. God's will is perfect. Don't judge the form. Apply the principle. Don't trust what the body's eyes see. Go here. Look beyond the form, beyond the illusion of what is born and what dies. And learn to see the animating force. Learn to perceive something greater than. And you'll learn to become grateful for the opportunity to learn the lessons. And hopefully as you go along, they'll become less intense and more pleasurable. At the beginning, they're always kind of intense because you realise somewhat horrifically how mistaken you've been. And it's like, oh my God, do a lot of these ones. Oh my God. I'm doing this to myself. All right, I love you. Peace.